I don't think that result, the 7-2 result, is representative of what Villa will be able to do week in, week out. But certainly Grealish and Barkley against the smaller teams will be able to represent a decent attacking force. And also, Ollie Watkins looked incredibly sharp as well. So loads to be excited about if you're a Villa fan. I would question, though, I mean, I don't know how Dean Smith is planning to work it out tactically, especially in games, against the bigger clubs and perhaps in games against your Burnleys and your tougher opponent to break down. Obviously, we've seen he's willing to do it against Liverpool, so we'd assume that's what he's going to do week in, week out. I would question the balance of that side. If you're playing Grealish and Barkley in the same midfield three, then I would say that's quite an imbalanced midfield between attacking and defensive players, so which might leave them vulnerable in what is quite a shambolically weak defence from Villa, despite the start that they've had, which is great. But certainly reasons to be excited for Villa fans, for sure.
Do you know what? Again, I'll make a comparison. And it's not necessarily an accurate parallel, right? But if you were going to play with Barkley and Grealish in a midfield three, and you had a decent defensive midfielder alongside them, so I was about to say McGinn. Yeah, I was about to say McGinn. I don't see why that can't work. Because you look at Man City, and again, it's not necessarily an accurate comparison, but they would often play with, a defensive midfielder, and they'd have De Bruyne and David Silva, or they'd have David Silva and Bernardo Silva in the middle of the park. So it can work. I mean, if you were to play Ross Barkley as a traditional sort of 8 in a midfield 3, and then you have Grealish maybe a little bit further forward, maybe wide left of a front 3, or maybe even wide right of a front 3. I think there is room to accommodate them both. You might maybe lose a little bit of industry, I suppose, if you put them both in a midfield 3. I get where you're coming from to a degree. I mean, in certain games, it might expose them a little bit. But, I mean, when you're playing at home and you want to try and break down a team, I think it would be great. It'd be great for fans as well to watch that, to have them both in there. I think Aston Villa fans, like I said previously, they're a realistic bunch. And they seem like a really nice bunch as well. They interacted with us in the comments. They really went for you after the Ollie Watkins situation. They did not appreciate that at all. But yeah, they seem very realistic. They were like, you know what, yeah, we think, coming 15th, 14th, that would be great. I think Barkley can push them on. But what do you reckon? Safety for them? Yeah, I don't see any problems now.
Well, I mean, first of all, you call them a realistic bunch, but I would call them far from that, if I'm honest. I think it all starts from the top at Aston Villa. Their owner is ambitious, and there's nothing wrong with ambition. But he says he wants top 6 within 3 years, and that's simply not going to happen. Not without a monumental amount of investment, and I can't see that happening at Aston Villa. And even with a monumental amount of investment, breaking the top 6 in such a small amount of time is still a tough ask. And Aston Villa fans buy into that. And I think that could be a concern if Dean Smith does a good job this year and pulls them into 16th place and survives. In my book, that's a successful season. But there are so many Villa fans out there who want to push the top 10 already. They've beaten Liverpool 7-2. It was a brilliant team performance. Liverpool were poor, but it was a brilliant team performance, taking nothing away from them. But they're not going to do that week in, week out. They've had a good start to the season, but they will struggle. They will struggle this season. They're not going to finish 6th. They're unlikely to finish in the top 10. Of course, occasionally teams do break that top 10. But for me, their defence is so frail. When they come up against decent teams, they're going to get found out.